And welcome everybody to the last day of week 5 here for the Tencent LPL Summer. It is day 3 as we kick off our first match here between OMG on the left and Positive Energy on the right. My name is Pastry Time. I'm going to be joined by Papa Smithy for this one. And Papa, it's been a great week as things have really started to heat up here in the LPL.
Absolutely, and we're starting off with a really big game here. Positive Energy, they didn't get the win last time. They couldn't overcome a Royal team who had that amazing level 1 plan they executed on. Their early map movements were some of the best I've seen in the LPL and even globally in League of Legends in Season 3. Looking fantastic there. And they've just struggled to perform a little bit after finding their foothold as the outright second-place team in the LPL. And OMG, the top team. So we are in one first place versus second place action here. A lot on the line.
Absolutely here. OMG love to continue their solid run. Have faltered slightly here so far as we've moved through almost 5 weeks of the LPL now, and Positive Energy also looks so strong. The bans here on the left, you can see OMG banned out Shen, Thresh, and Kennen, and Positive Energy are going to go with Twisted Fate, Elise, and Zac as their 3 bans. So kind of almost expected bans at this point. Lots of just champions we've seen be very popular here in the LPL. No target bans, interestingly enough, as far as I can pick out, but Twitch looks like he might be the first pick up here for OMG, and at this point that should surprise no one, although that does, as Renekton is actually the champion they want to go for as their first.
And I love that rotation there, because we go from kind of the global first pick, the first ban Twitch, who just fits so many comps, has so much early game damage, just such a flexible pick, into kind of the LPL standard right here. Renekton, the Crocodile, has gone from not being appearing much. We see only a 19.3% total season appearance rate, but that win rate of 64% in competitive play is very high, and that's the reason why he's actually catapulted, at least in the LPL, to first pick status.
And interestingly enough, Positive Energy going to go Nami Lee Sin as their few picks. So Lee Sin has also picked up a lot of steam here in the LPL in the recent weeks. He's been seeing a lot of play. They just love that aggressive jungler, able to put out lots of pressure with some decent CC and peel as you kind of move through towards the team fights. Nami, of course, a very popular support champion, but very interesting to not see that Twitch picked up at all. In fact, OMG, maybe recognizing that Positive Energy need to value a couple of other champions a little higher, now get to pick it up for themselves, deny that one away from Nami and Orianna, one of JoJo's strongest champions. Really, we've seen Positive Energy. They have played Orianna comps like almost no other team I've seen.
Absolutely. They've been executing on those 2 threat comps so well, and that's been facilitated by just the mass pressure, damage, and control that Orianna picks put out. So Orianna stolen away, getting Twitch as well. You've got a lot of little victories there in terms of just flavor of the month picks, but also picks in the OMG versus PE repertoire on the OMG side.
Yeah, Positive Energy now going to answer with Vayne, which is pretty much the standard response you see up against that Twitch. Pretty much when we see Twitch, the other team almost always answers with that Vayne there to kind of match hypercarry for hypercarry. Gragas, though, is kind of a curious pick here for Positive Energy. So I guess with the Twitch, you kind of want to kill him as fast as possible. Gragas, certainly one of those champions, a very strong laner, and if he ever gets ahead, he can really just burst people down. He just does so much damage.
And on the OMG side, I noticed that they'd left their jungle pick for quite late here. We could see the jungle Yorick one more time, the OMG special, something that I think is going to have to start building up speed in other scenes, and we do see the Renekton Yorick pick here, and that's been consistently the synergy they've been going from there. Just, usually you were thinking, hey, it must be the Cassiopeia or the Ryze in the mid lane, just so that when you have that Yorick ult, when they have the revive comes through, you do that consistent magic damage. You don't get reduced from the ult's AD ratio scaling. But Renekton, of course, does that deceptive magic damage for such a long time. Cloning him in a fight, very tricky but very effective.
A curious last pick here for PE as well. Jax is actually their last pick here. As you can see on your screen, has not appeared yet here in the LPL, so that's very interesting. But I think, OMG kind of built, this is their second comp that we've really seen from them, right? We've seen the freight train, just massive ultimates, big AoE everywhere. This is kind of the other string to their bow, it feels like here. Twitch usually is their carry that they want, or just some sort of hyper carry they can protect. A big bulky front line with Yorick, Renekton, and then great control between the AoEs of both Orianna and Sona. So this is kind of the other path of OMG we've seen. It's a little different to the style they were actually famous for in the spring LPL and early here in summer as well. Positive Energy, on the other hand, kind of feels like they have a lot of elements of some of the comps that they like, but they've got very big threats here. Gragas, if he gets ahead, is a big threat, and Jackson Vayne late game are very scary as well.
Yeah, and Gragas, he has that potential to rule the mid game. If he can get that mass chunk of AP from a bit of early snowballing, his high ratios, only having 2 really big damaging throws. But in the mid game, you can actually get in there with your body slam and also do the damage there. You can really snowball and get ahead if you can get that massive chunk of AP early. But you know, he's only a burst champion. He does fall off a bit late. I mean, Jax and Vayne are scary damage threats. So I do like that Jax there as a kind of a late game terror, you know, a hyper carry from the top lane no less. But Jax is not picked for a lot for a reason. He struggles in laning. He struggles with potentially being kited, and you do see, you know, the Orianna, for example, a very, very strong pick against Jax. So if they can lane this Jax effectively, you know, avoid maybe a 1v2 or just really babysit him and get him ahead, Positive Energy have a very nice comp here. But this is an OMG comp, as you say. It's not the freight train, but a super powerful comp that gives a lot of objective control and is very strong for pushing. Those Yorick goals, they tank buffs, they tank turrets. They're a very strong push comp here, so that's something that Positive Energy will have to keep tabs on.
Yeah, I mean, OMG for me, kind of picking it in this spot against Positive Energy almost validates kind of the power of it for me in a little way, and also says we respect Positive Energy as a team, you know. It's kind of surprising to not see Big Pomelo play Blitzcrank these days because he loves it, but I think he kind of understands that my team, you know, we need to play a coherent comp here as a red buff does spawn up there. Jing going to start over there on that side. Looks like blue buff's going to be the start there for Loveland, which makes a lot of sense for Yorick and Lee Sin, respectively. But it almost feels like OMG are going like, you know what, we need to play... kind of need to play Positive Energy's game. They've seen the team fighting that they can go out, you know, the cohesion, the chemistry that team has. So they're kind of picking their comp that maybe a little bit less snowbally, but I think very, very stable as they move towards any sort of mid-game or late game.
Interesting to see the lane sort's been anticipated here. They seem to be happy forcing the 1v1, or at least resigned to forcing the 1v1 here. Renekton does have a very favorable early lane against Jax. It can potentially change with the pickup of a Phage or some item pickups on the Jax side, or of course jungle ganks.
Yeah, I think Lee Sin pressure is a big reason why Jax might work here, but currently Jing's up towards the top lane, looking for a gank, but OMG have that watered out. Actually, no, they don't. Oh, they do. Never mind. There is a ward in the tri-bush there as Lee Sin moves over the minimap, so able to spot that one out. Not going to get ganked up there. Hey, we have flipped things upside down a little here as we've got 4 people up towards the top lane, but I mean, K9s is kind of the lesser of two evils. They last picked Jax kind of knowing how rough the laning was going to be. I think they'd rather him be in a 1v1 than a 1v2, but it's kind of bad news either way for Jax until he gets some farm going.
It could be a meeting at the blue buff here as we see the two jungler icons jumping on top of each other.
Loveland very aggressive. They're going to go in. Jing forced to flash actually, and level 3 Yorick. They're kind of coming in a little early, taking away I think another camp. He may have just taken one of the smaller camps, or maybe even walk through mid for a bit of extra XP. But yeah, he's actually level 3 to Jing's level 2. Jing kind of backed up there, went to go take his blue buff there after looking to pressure top lane, and kind of smart play there from Loveland moving into the jungle, able to really punish Lee Sin at level 3.
For one of the little things there, Page Time, even if there wasn't a level discrepancy, having a Doran's Blade against a Machete just gives you so many more combat stats. And as discussed, the ghouls tank, you know, minion aggro, monster aggro in the jungle for Yorick. So full health with a Doran's Blade, even against that Lee Sin, who of course, well known for his early game skirmishing. Yorick's going to come up ahead.
And Loveland actually aggressively counter-jungling here, just kind of moving through the jungle, taking away Jing's buffs, or small camps at this point. The buffs are pretty much gone. And Jing now going to come up towards him. He's level 2. Big Pomelo could be in a lot of trouble. Force flash out there from Sona as Ebb and Flow's going to come through. The exhaust used in there as well. Now Sam could be in trouble. Good flash throw from Twitch. Doesn't quite reach the wall, but he was well enough away there after flashing out from that one. So a nice gank there from Jing. He's still level 2 with that red buff, and Loveland actually hanging out now towards the top lane as K9's down the bottom. Activates Counter-Strike. Maybe looking to go in though. There's a good bubble there coming through. Loveland now going to go on to Sticker here as that could be a Vayne in trouble. Flash forward there from Yorick, trying to pick it up. Now Jing's coming back into the mix, and so much damage coming out. The level 2 Lee Sin doing quite a lot of work here, and OMG, a lot of pressure here up towards the top lane, but no one miraculously is going to die from all the people that are up towards the top.
I guess the little thing I saw there, the very nice execution was San there. He'd actually gone for a very greedy early start. You'll see here, a point in Venom Cast, 2 points in Expunge. He did not have any points in Ambush there.
Oh, he could not. Back again in towards the top lane. Those ghouls not going to kill him, but it's dangerous.
Frustrate him, no less. But yeah, he couldn't escape with the ambush there, so he needed to be on point with that flash to get away. Flash the condemn perfectly.
Loveland out of the way now as well. Still with blue buff. Yorick so annoying from the jungle. I mean,
Lee Sin's still level 2 pastry time.
And it's not something we see every day, is it? The counter jungling Yorick, Papa Smithy.
I mean, counter jungling is an art. You know, everyone remembers the early Diamond Procs phrase of it's a team thing, but I mean, it's just been a one-man Yorick counter jungling.
In trouble here down the bottom as well. Ignite maybe going to finish him off. Going, looking pretty aggressive for the dive. It's going to be close. K9's just living on a little bit of health there, but at least Renekton will push him out of the bottom lane.
Yeah, and Renekton, he really can boss. Jax. I mean, Jax completely melee champion. All of his abilities basically a gap close, and then the rest are all about auto attacks. So trading with a Renekton once he gets any sort of fury going is going to be a painful experience for K9s.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the interesting adaptations of Renekton is that he kind of feels like a more aggressive Zac to me. You know, he seems to split a lot of lanes, probably not all of them. He does have trouble against certain, say, range champions. You know, there are definitely counters, but it feels like Renekton splits most of his lanes with the option of being aggressive, which Zac doesn't have. Now, Zac gets the benefit of being a great teamfight champion, absolutely, and also just splitting practically every lane in every situation. But I think Renekton almost feels like the natural progression of people are banning Zac, what else can I pick that's quite safe and also quite powerful? And I think Renekton might actually be the answer.
And I think the thing about Renekton is that he's a lane bully, but he kind of at worst splits, right? That's kind of the thing. There's that Zac, he can play passive, but he just doesn't have
Loveland
that
in the top now as well. Sika in trouble there. Good Aqua Prison coming through as well, but so much Yorick damage, and First Blood just cleaned up there as Loveland rotates himself up towards the top lane. Nice and long. Plenty of room. Oh, it's Jing coming in now as well. Good Q sit on there, so he's going to turn around to Nami, try and do the damage. Big Pomelo looking for some power chord action, but not enough there. And San crucially missing from that exchange as K9s looks to get the counter strike going off there, but a great trade for Go going in the bottom as well. Nice pressure there from Loveland, but a good response there from Jing.
But to have a laner who has kill pressure, you know, with a red pot or just at level 2 with proper management of Fury and then transitioning into splitting every lane, Renekton's a strong champion. He doesn't always get to bully, but he always kind of gets through and becomes a tanky beast.
And a little bit of a reprieve now for Jing there in the jungle. Finally hits level 4, almost dying to the double golems there. Loveland with that death there, no flash available of course. If he wants to make any more plays, he's going to have to be even more careful. But Yorick now moving up, he's maybe going to take his blue buff, likely Donator over here. And the train seems to have stopped here on the counter jungling. I think Jing's very relieved to have his jungle free of Yorick, at least for now, because that was getting really, really frustrating as a Lee Sin.
And because of gold values here, no early tier coming out for Loveland just yet. Double Doran's going to continue to win trades against Lee Sin, given the item builds, but not going to have that mana sustain just yet.
Not quite here, and was continue trading up in the top lane. Bottom lane, still problems here for K9's. Good counter strike though, maybe going to go in there. The ult turned on though, and that could be problems here for Jax. Going to have to try and lead strike to a creep, none available, but not going to take too much damage here. Now Loveland back up towards the top, clearing out wards, looking to maybe get some pressure going here, especially once they hit level 6. It's kind of interesting to me. Yorick almost feels like the next evolution of damage-based junglers. Here's K9's down the bottom lane. He's in a lot of trouble. Going diving very deep there. Nice counter strike from Jax. He's going to keep everything okay. You know, Yorick, his ganks aren't great. He's got a decent slow, but boy does he do damage if he's on top of you.
His skirmishes are very strong, and to pick a champion who can out-skirmish Lee Sin and then has the flexibility to be involved in fast pushing and objective control, it's very powerful from the jungle.
Big Pomelo has to be careful. It takes a big chunk of damage up towards the top lane. Lucky he didn't get himself condemned into a wall. They could have been his death, and with no ult there for Sona, could have been problems there, but Big Pomelo going to be okay for now. Yeah, I totally agree with what you said on Yorick as well, by the way, as Jing's actually up towards the top lane, maybe looking to make something happen, excuse me, but everyone's just going to back away here. But it's a world of difference having this Lee Sin kind of unleash again in this game, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we see a proxy fight coming out from the two tanky men there. They're going, might have been a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah, looks like Loveland's here as well. They're trying to bait in for Kanan. It's a slow there coming out for Yorick, but I think Jax retreating up towards his tower. Actually, leap strikes up towards the minion wave there. This is going to get away. I mean, a good attempt there from Go-Going to get the bait in. Almost bit off a little more than he could chew, but it's going to be okay for now. You can tell that Jax is definitely getting some traction there in the bottom lane, but that is a massive CS difference as I look down.
Absolutely, it almost feels unfair to call it traction pace to time given that CS advantage. At this point, it feels more like he's been in a 1v2 situation, but the aggressive pick there, now Loveland, with all the proxying they're doing, they're holding down Jax as if...
Good ult there onto Jojo, cool, very aggressive with the Orianna. That could be bad news for Gragas, and that's going to be a nice solo kill. They're punishing Gragas trying to take away those wraiths there. Very, very...
He only saw the warp path with that ward too. He did have a bit of a leap of faith there to get it, but aggression sometimes, it definitely does open you up to those those potential for such pickups.
And I mean, you kind of look at a player like Cool on a champion like Orianna, you kind of think, you know, OMG likes to play aggressively, there's no way he can get aggressive with Orianna. Absolutely not the case here. OMG are the team that use their ultimates in very creative, very aggressive ways, and even on Ori, I think Cool really showing that, you know what, this is how our team likes to play, really exemplifying that as they take out the tower.
Look at this rotation here. Goes to the mid lane, they get that early mid turret,
Big
but
Pomelo,
there might be danger up top.
Yep, sticking out, taking a lot of damage from the spray and pray. Big Pomelo, they're also in trouble. Forced to flash there, Name flashing after one last auto attack, will clean it up there. And now Sticker looking to come back in. San's got to be careful. Is he going to get greedy here and try and take it out? No, he doesn't. The Tycho is blessing for a little bit of slow. but Twitch already flashed out of the way. They good trade there towards the top lane. A decent ult from Big Pomelo, but there was plenty there as the tidal wave came in from Sika, and nice kill there for Vayne.
Now look, you see it, the gold lead here is quite big here, mostly because look at this CS pastry time. There's 37 CS between the top laners, who of course have been in the bot lane this game. I mean, 30 CS in the mid lane, 20 CS in the top lane. Positive Energy picking up those kills up top are the only things that are keeping them in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice for them. The 2 towers they're down, definitely hurting as well. And it seems like with two people bottom lane only, no team's really been able to go for Dragon either, so that objective's still uncontested on this map here. As it looks like Blue Buff going to go over there to Jojo with a bit of help from K9s. I mean, impressive from OMG just to be so dominant in their lanes, but that's kind of what the comp for Positive Energy looks like. And I think the stroke of genius from OMG here is just how aggressive Loveland was early on in the jungle. Because you look at a lot of PE's lanes, they're pretty weak. Top lane's weak there for Jax. The Vayne Nami is a very weak lane, and they're kind of relying on Lycium pressure to carry them through. And Loveland absolutely didn't want any of that to happen.
Absolutely, that was the exact point I was going to make, Pastry Time. You pick Lee Sin in those situations to equalize weak lanes. We see Sun take some damage there. But Loveland's been in his face, he's been winning skirmishes, and they've just had nothing to call in. There was no airstrike, there's no gank, there's nothing they can call in, Pastry Time.
Now a creative 2-man dragon from OMG, they are going to get this one here. Plenty of tank between those two. We've mentioned it before, the big tanky OMG frontline of Renekton Yorick, something they've run time and time again. In fact, pretty much since Yorick has shown up for OMG, teams have started banning it. It's laxed off a little here, and Positive Energy may be going to have to go back the next time they play and be like, maybe we should ban out this Yorick again, because it's looking really nice here once more for OMG. Big Pomelo, there could be in trouble, condemn it to the wall to find low. Tidal wave in there as well, and that's going to be a dead Sona. The damage coming in, Twitch trying to do what he can. No, Asan actually, sorry, with quite a bit of damage that maybe can clean up kills there in the top lane, but Jinx rotating up, Cool's in here as well. Sika here going to take a big chunk of damage. Loveland is up in as well. San picks up 1 kill there as Sika goes down. Jojo with a good ult to get everybody else out of the way, and Cool a little late to the party to clean up anymore, but a trade nonetheless there in the top, and they pick up 1 for 1 now. Bottom lane here, K9s are going to go in, Counter-Strike, nice activation, going stunned up there as well. Renekton with the ult going, doesn't matter how much counter-striking you do, you're going to still take damage if you're standing within that Dominus AoE, and K9s I think once again forced to back away from the bottom lane.
And of course, the Fury generation so high when you have Ultimate activated. Between the magic damage and the fact that those abilities are going to be hitting that much harder, there's no way to trade there for Jax.
That Sunfire Cape as well, also putting in a nice bit of AoE. Very, reasonably standard, but I guess in this instance in particular against a AD-based champion, although Jax does do a decent amount of mixed damage, that makes sense to have that Sunfire really able to push and bully this Jax more and more. Kind of negates a little bit of counter-strike here as well. Jojo almost clipped by the ultimate there. You could tell Cool was looking for the angle and didn't quite have him in that AoE. And Gragas here going to go back up towards his wraiths, try and clear out what he can. I mean, really, this game seems kind of close when you look at it on paper. 6 kills in total, 3 apiece for either team, but OMG have just done way more with their 3 kills. They picked up a tower every single time, not to mention that dragon. And it all comes back to just the kind of comps here. Oh, good ult there from Cool as well. Jojo could be in trouble, but Jinx rotating it as well. A great Gragas ult, but the Q from Lee Sin's actually going to miss as a result. Now Cool forced to flash away. A kick there coming out as Cool gets the first kill. And once again, a trade here for either team, 4 kills apiece here, and every single time Positive Energy seem to want to do anything, OMG already there with the trade.
It's worth noting though, Page Time, those are trades that, you know, the resources have been unequal in almost all these Positive Energy pickups here. In 2v1 situations, they're only going 1 for 1 at Positive Energy just because of item discrepancies. And it just all comes back to Loveland's jungle pressure and keeping tabs on Jing this whole game means that everyone is CS'd better. They've been up items. In that case, the Athenes was already completed. Now we see Nina see a large rod coming out from Oriana there. And those little item discrepancies are changing 2v1 skirmishes that should be just a pick-off for Positive Energy, just a bit of gold and a kill and experience to them, into 1v1 situations.
And as a result, OMG have gotten 3 towers out of the deal as well, which is a big deal. I mean, they're a team that definitely likes to play objective-centric League of Legends, and no surprise to see they've really taken advantage of their early aggression. Now a 4-man push coming in, but Jing gonna get moved up by the Oriana ultimate as Shockwave comes in. Sona actually aggressively flashes forward. Big Pomelo gonna collect the double buffs there on Lee Sin. And a defense of the mid tower there as well. OMG, if we know one thing about them, is going here very aggressive towards the top side of the mid lane. Nami actually maybe going to get stunned up here. Diving aggressively, San moving in as well with ambush, but don't think they're going to quite find the line for that one. PE, though, forced to back away in the 5v4 with everybody on OMG quite healthy. And you mentioned it already, Papa, that item discrepancy really hurting as they move through the mid game.
And I feel like Positive Energy, as we said at the start, can get back into this game, but they're so far behind in items. You know, Jax, He wants that Trinity Force Blade, the Ruin King combination, sitting on a Vamp Scepter, a Doran's Blade, and a Ruby Crystal. Still so far away from being that teamfight presence. We knew he'd be behind, but he's very behind.
The pressure from going now up towards the top lane. Positive Energy rotating in there as well. Got to be careful though, don't want to get Greg assaulted. And OMG will back away before that happens. But even little things like that, just OMG are ping-ponging between the top and mid-tier 2s here. Just getting a little bit of damage where they can, really just trying to put the pressure on. And this is something that, for me, really exemplifies them as a team. As Sani going to get bubbled up. That could be bad news. Flash out there. Good Greg Assault, actually. Gogoing's going to move up, but San now in a decent position. Got himself knocked back to Crescendo. Going to hit onto Name there as well. And Gogoing still alive there as he battles Jin. Canine's very low as well. Pomelo now coming through there with a double rush trying to take out this Lee Sin. Loveland actually maybe going to make it happen as Sona picks up one more kill here. Renekton slices out of the way as Vayne tries to chase down there with Final Hour plus Tumble. And a little 1-0 there, Renekton. Again, the item discrepancies keeping that Crocodile alive for just longer than Positive Energy want to. They're finding decent spots, but they cannot overcome the gold lead. Even though it's only 17 minutes, 5,500 gold is quite a big deal this early on, and it really shows.
And since they picked for the late just so strongly with both the Vayne Nami lane and the Jax lane, the early presence of Yorick to firstly, out-skirmish Lee Sin, and now he has the Oracles. He's very strong at taking objectives. It almost feels like the game will never get to that Positive Energy, what they had dreamed of, that late game scenario they dreamed of, just because the aggression and the map control coming out from Loveland is just too strong. And
I think denying Orianna here by OMG is a stroke of genius from that team. I mean, not only is Jojo an incredibly strong Orianna player, I think it suits their comp so well. I don't know who's supposed to win in Orianna versus Gragas, but the fact that Jing was nowhere to be found in terms of pressure. I mean, Gragas is Positive Energy's mid-game champion in this comp. He was the one that really needed to pull them through in this spot, and he's just got absolutely nothing going right now.
I just don't think he ever really has kill potential in Orianna. I mean, Orianna, she has that ranged auto attack, so early levels, range versus melee, you always know that Orianna will come out in the advantage. At level 6, a quick burst might pick up a kill there, but if Gragas ever tries to roam, and that Gragas pick is mostly about roaming, about getting in there with that explosive cast, with the barrel roll, and being able to get in there and do a lot of early roaming. I mean, Orianna clears waves so fast that is always a very risky choice against Orianna.
Lovely now coming trying to defend the tower in the bottom lane. It will go down here as Positive Energy pick up their first one. Slow there actually on the Canines, looking to follow up. I can see Go going off to the side. He's ready to go in. Renekton maybe going to make it happen. Big Pomelo does have his ult. Does he want to flash for it? Oh, actually misses the Crescendo as K9's just able to get out of the way. A good tidal wave there from Sika, kind of throwing off the timing a bit there. So a wasted ult from Sona, unfortunately. Dragon is back up though. OMG can rotate there. Looks like mid lane's in trouble for Name as he gets caught out. Orianna plus Twitch able to clean that one up. And Positive Energy really can't afford to be in the middle of the map without much vision. And OMG really just taking over the middle of the map now as well. Second Dragon going to come down now. And things slowly going from bad to worse. Maybe not even that slowly, actually. Positive Energy going to struggle to make up ground here with the late game comp they have.
And there's kind of a lot of parallels between this game and the previous Positive Energy game we saw, where Royal, they executed a plan, they had very strong level 1 and mid-game movement, very early game movement, sorry, and just dismantled Positive Energy. And in this case, Loveland's aggressive play has done the same.
Diving very deep in there as well with the Orianna ball on top. A cast there, trying to get them out, but Kanon solo there as Loveland flashes forward for the slow. He will get it there with that W goal. I mean, the exit kill's coming out now. Big Pomelo gets exploded by Name with the final hour. Jing actually going in there as well. Jojo a little low there. Going though. Absolutely crazy in the backward slice and dice as Sun gets himself tumbled into all. The Aqua Prison on Cool. Going to get some damage in there as well. And Positive Energy just really defending here. OMG still essentially proxy diving between these two turrets. Will now retreat to clear out the tier 2. A 1-4 trade there. Not bad for PE, but OMG's still getting objectives done, and that's the important thing. We've noted in this game how so many times these two teams have traded kills. OMG have gotten the upper hand on objectives every single time that has happened.
I guess to finally kind of put a rubber stamp next to Yorick's name and kind of help pigeonhole what he brings to a team. Early skirmish, turret diving, but also turret pushing. So when it comes to objective play, but also even that early skirmish, just so much provided from that big pastry time.
Yeah, and we kind of saw it for the first time. I mean, it was weird actually when we first saw it, because OMG just kind of
played. You sit
it.
there and you say, how can a Yorick, with kind of a slow, situational slow that's a lot like Sin's Goo, really hold a candle to what has often been the matchup, Lee Sin.
Yeah, and You know, even the first time we saw him, he was just farming. Like, that game was kind of weird because OMG didn't do a whole lot, and Yorick just farmed from the jungle. I think now really seeing what this pick brings to the comp in terms of OMG, not just in terms of their team fight, because we've seen that before, you know, having a big tanky frontline, having that Renekton copied with the AoE running with Dominus, but just so much aggression and pressure. And it's funny, it almost feels like as we kind of move through the LPL, you know, we mentioned Shyvana as kind of a meta pick here in the LPL with the way that she's got good damage and people don't like to ward that often. The junglers I've seen kind of do well. I mean, we've seen a lot of Lee Sin, but his results are a little mixed. We've seen Xin Zhao, we've seen Shyvana, and we've now seen Yorick out from OMG as well. Kind of feels like this damage-heavy, good kind of skirmish, like aggressive skirmisher-based junglers might be what the LPL junglers are really getting their teeth into here and really kind of figuring out and getting to, because that seems to be what we've seen have success here so far.
Absolutely. Yorick, he's unconventional, but for how long?
Who knows? It's not going to take too many more games of this, I think. I mean, teams already started to ban it, as we mentioned, so we'll see here as OMG going to continue getting their push going. Going up the top lane. He's going to clear that out. He's got a Spirit Visage up now in his Renekton, so very scary. Another scary item, by the way. Cool's Rabadon's Death Cap was finished up here, which is a big jump in power here for Orianna. I mean, this is a scary... Or in fact, Sane moving in for maybe the semi-submarine. Now they caught him there with the ultimate as well. Forced to flash out there as Sika moves out the tidal wave as well. And just more pressure here from OMG. I don't know how many times, I don't think I'll ever get sick of seeing Submarine play with Twitch, by the way. It just seems every team has something creative they can do with Ambush, and that was almost a beautiful setup with the Shockwave.
Very, very nice play there. And that's right. I mean, an AD carrier who can force positioning misplays from the enemy team. Ambush is just such a strong spell.
Yeah, and it just obviously doesn't take away from all the other power that Twitch has as a carry as well. I mean, he's popular for a reason. He was almost first pick here in this game. Jojo aggressively ulting there with the flash, trying to make something happen, but did not quite get it, unfortunately. Just a little bit of burst damage thrown out there. Desperately wanted to try and throw somebody back in. I mean, OMG right now, just massive split push pressure. Going all the way on his lonesome there in the top lane here. Big Pomelo forced to dodge that Q, does so admirably. I mean, the rest of the team coming through. OMG maybe got to be careful. Cool. Mini Stone into the wall and forced to flash out of the way, but Spray and Pray turned on there for Twitch. Obliterates at least in. Now Crescendo coming in there as well. And there's just so much damage here. I mean, K9's trying to make something happen. The inhibitor tower in mid though is down. And there's the command attack going to clean that one out there as Cool slays K9's. This damage here left, right, and center. A Shockwave whiffs doesn't even matter there for OMG. They're going to pick up an inhibitor now in the mid as well. And just taking an advantage, really run away with the early stages of this game. Now 10,000 gold in the lead, and possibly even just looking to end it right here.
Absolutely, just wonderful play from OMG here, and it's just a reminder of why we never really see that Jax, but why this is the first Jax we've seen this season.
Yeah, I mean, just a little, not quite there, I guess, for positive energy. I mean, you could see what they were going for. Honestly, for me, it feels like they're really lost without Orianna. That was a brilliant pick from Cool.
Taking away the Orianna was super strong, but I mean, to get to my point I was going to make there before I saw some aggressive turret diving, Jax just, he's such an all-in late-game champion, even more so than Vayne. I mean, one of the reasons why we've seen that resurgence of Vayne is that you can put up play the Rune King, and then no one can ever deal with it. It gives you such a big power jump, you know, compared to the old Bloodthirster build. It gives you self-heal, it gives you a slow, it gives you so much. Jax, as a top laner, functions very similar to how old Vayne did, in that you kind of need to pick up your items and hope that you don't get punished too much for it. And Renekton versus Jax is such a mismatch in terms of early game power that just more often than not, whether it's the enemy team comp or how the tempo of the Season 3 games is, the games never go long enough for Jax to show up with his items and be that champ that we know he can be.
Yeah, I mean, especially against a team like OMG, who you know love to play aggressive, objective-focused League of Legends, it almost feels like a misstep to try and think we can hold you to the late game, because right now OMG really just proving that even when they don't have, you know, the super freight train going on. I mean, Loveland's playing a jungler that isn't Hecarim in this point, in Yorick. In fact, probably couldn't be further from Hecarim in terms of aggressive, you know, AoE ultimate initiation ability, but been working so far for them and still looking on form here against Positive Energy. And this is not how I expected this to go. I mean, the draft looked a little interesting here, but Positive Energy is the number 2 team here, putting up less of a fight than I think they wanted to here. And now Jojo, he is not standing. Oh, never mind. They don't even want Gragas. You know what? That's a free kill. Never mind. Now they're going to go in here. Looks like Sans found him out as well. The cast going to hit in there as well. Gragas nowhere to really run there. There's the stun coming out from Renekton, and Expunge will finish him off there from Twitch. I mean, Jojo shouldn't be walking in that spot, but really, Positive Energy don't have a choice. They need to try and get some farm going here. And the 3 solo farmers, what I wanted to mention before, the 3 farmers here from OMG, they've all got a massive CS lead. Renekton's is disgustingly large.
Yeah, it's just obscene here. If the top turret's going to be the function here. We're so quick to talk about the pick comps pastry time that the other side of that coin for OMG has always been objective control. They've always been able to get that mid turret down first. Control turrets the best. And that's where the Yorick pick fits in there, is that any champion who can siege turrets but also dive them, and even help his team dive them, it still fits OMG, even if it's not those picks that they're so known for.
Absolutely, it's still aggressive here. Good old there from Big Pummel. Shockwave in there as well. Snags 3 of them there for Cools. He picks up a triple. And just the damage from Oriana. You don't say Snowball Oriana too many times, but we're seeing it a little more often now. Loveland actually going to go down there to Jojo. Fountain diving happening a little there as well as Renekton takes a love tap from the laser. And it just doesn't matter right now. The ace completed there from OMG. Eric actually still alive with Omen of Death running. Finally dies for real this time. But the Nexus is going to fall here. OMG, yet another victory here in the LPL. Positive Energy look like they maybe could be a team to give them their 3rd loss of the tournament, but not going to happen today.
And it feels like Positive Energy need to spend this weekend here, or this next week, remembering how they've managed to establish themselves as a 2nd place team here, because they've been tripped up 2 games in a row on their level 1 and their early game movements. They've been just really abused by both Royal and now OMG, and they need to rectify that. Otherwise, more teams will keep on just applying that early pressure, stopping, interrupting jungling, getting those early skirmishes on. And Positive Energy have really, really struggled there.
Yeah, they really did there. And just a greatly played game there from OMG. Really just still showing that, that Jungle Yorick, that wasn't a gimmick we used the first time around. This is the real deal. And very, very strong performance there from OMG. Continuing a great run here in the Tencent LPL Summer. If, of course, you'd like to catch up with the rest of the coverage from this week or any of the other weeks that we've done coverage of, you can head over to youtube.com/lolchampseries and check out all the VOD coverage there. One game through here, week 5, day 3. Plenty more to come here. And coverage will continue of the Tencent LPL Summer.